As a rider, you have to be able to make rapid decisions in a fraction of a second in order to avoid catalytic catastrophe. It's just one of those things that make riders superior to the rest of the world. Avoiding problematic lanes is just one of those decisions you're gonna have to make. Roads are a landmine of unfortunate surprises. Big old 18-wheelers, tires running loose, animals, dudes with mattresses on cars, and people literally trying to murder you. So if you, an attractive, handsome, intelligent rider, wants to optimize safety and visibility because you look so goddamn good, which lane should you avoid? Not all lanes are created equal. Today we have 3 contestants for you to choose from: the left lane, the middle, and the right. I know not all roads look like this. Some have 2 lanes, some have 14, but for the sake of time, we're gonna narrow it down to these 3 options. Before we dive into each lane, let's go over what makes a bad lane bad. You want to look out for some of these things. If it gives you poor visibility, if it places you in blind spots, if it has all sorts of surface hazards, if it lacks opportunities to escape, if it has a massive truck in it. If a lane doesn't suffer from any of these things, then in theory it is a perfect lane. But unfortunately, we don't live in a perfect world. Wake up! So let's break down which lane is most likely to crap in your cereal. First, introducing the far left lane, also known as the passing lane. Talking to you, Camry, doing 60 and a 90. What's wrong with you? The passing lane, in theory, is for taking over a slower vehicle, but no one actually uses it for that. It's really just another lane that's moving slightly faster than the rest of traffic, which should automatically place it in the dangerous category, but speed actually isn't all that bad. The left lane often reports far less accidents than the other lanes, and that's because it's got a number of advantages. The left lane tends to be free of large moving vehicles like trucks and buses. Because it's slightly faster than the rest of traffic, it keeps you out of blind spots for any long period of time. It's also easier to have an effective blocking position in the left lane. What's a blocking position, you ask? So in simple terms, if you are riding in the left lane, it's not usually a good idea to stick to the left side of the lane, even if it keeps you far away from other cars. The best position is actually the right side of the lane, because that prevents any other cars from entering or sharing your lane. But I'm sure you probably already knew that. It's a lot easier to abort the lane in case something goes wrong, which it will, because the world's out to get you. With that being said, you want to avoid the middle part of the lane because that's where oil, dirt, and God forbid car parts show up and ruin your day. But that's not what the video is about. It's not about lane position, it's about which lane to pick. And one of the best parts about the left lane is you shouldn't have to worry about cars entering from your left. Shouldn't. It's good to have trust issues. The left lane is often considered to be the safest option by many people. But before you jump the gun and pick a winner, I should mention that it's not the safest all the time. Because on the left side, you either have a concrete barrier or oncoming traffic, which are 2 very unfriendly things. And on city roads, there is the dreaded left turn, your arch nemesis, which happens to pick on people in the left lane. The visibility from there is lousy. 2 out of 5. While the left lane has fewer accidents, the accidents tend to be more severe. So maybe you might want to consider some of your other options. The middle lane. If you aren't looking to get into anything serious, this might be the one. It gives you a ton of space to swerve and avoid unpleasant surprises. There's also less stationary barriers like curbs, trees, signs. But the downside is you're dealing with a lot more moving barriers because you are in the heart of traffic. You have to pay attention to cars on your right, your left, your front, and your back. It's gonna be really hard not to end up in somebody's blind spot. You need eyes like a hawk. And it's also really hard to have an effective blocking position. On the right tire track, then you're vulnerable to the left, and if you're on the left tire track, then you're vulnerable to the right. It's complicated. But it's best to stick to the left tire track on any middle lane because that puts you in direct view of the driver in the back, making it the slightly better position. Whether the middle lane is the right choice or not comes down to where you're heading, where you see yourself in 5 minutes. On the highway, the middle lane really doesn't offer much more of an advantage than the left. But in the city where the middle lane tends to see less stop and go traffic, less turns, and more space to swerve in case of an emergency, it's a pretty good choice. But wait, there's one more option, the right lane. The right lane can either be your best friend or your worst enemy. It suffers from multiple personality disorder. On the bright side, the right lane has a ton of shoulder space, so if something happens, you can just go over there and you'll be safe. It's also really far away from oncoming traffic, so you don't have to worry about getting sent to the moon. But what I think is the most awesome is it puts you in the most visible side of vehicles. Did you know that the right side mirror offers more visibility than the left side mirror? I forget by how much, but here's the thing with the right lane. Here is the compromise. The right lane has a lot of red flags because the right lane is only the right lane when it wants to be. It changes up on you when you least expect it. Sometimes it's the merging lane, the exit lane, HOV lane, bus lane, the bike lane. It takes all sorts of personalities and everybody wants a piece of that action. Buses, cyclists, taxis, that one dude on rollerblades, full of turns, merges, exits, you name it. And the sucky part is the people who are merging from the right lane or into the right lane are under a time limit. You only have so much time before you run out of road and are forced to merge to the left. And you only have so much time to merge right before you miss your exit. And people are unwilling to miss their exits because the right lane tends to pressure people the most. It tends to be a pretty risky lane to be in. This lane often reports the most accidents, but the accidents tend to be less severe than the ones on the left. So having heard what each lane has to offer, which one will you eliminate? Which one do you think is most likely to lead you astray? For me, that depends. If you are riding on a highway and you're less susceptible to oncoming traffic and left-turning vehicles, then the right lane with all its merging and exits poses a much higher risk. If you're running in cities, oncoming traffic and left turns become more of a concern. So the left becomes the sketchy lane. If you're riding in gridlock on a hot summer's day, the best lane is in between, baby.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We can't do that here, so it could be any of the three. To wrap this up, there is no perfect lane all of the time. But some lanes do pose more risk than others depending on where you're riding. You have to use your best judgment and make the decision that makes the most sense. And remember, no matter which lane you're in, it's good to have trust issues. Eyes like a hawk. Let me ask you a question. Which lane are you picking? Thank you for watching this video. If you're a fan of motorcycles and also hate Camrys, hit the subscribe button and check out all the other stuff on this channel. Also, expect more videos to come soon. But for now, take care. And peace out. I bet when I land, they gon' tell me it's luck again. See that I'm winning, it's harder to watch. I'm setting the stage, you should give me my props. You ain't got no soul, you lacking the spirit. You talk out your neck, I'ma show you I'm with it. I've been really happy for you to sit and watch me win again and win again and win again. I know it's probably getting on me and when I'm sending them, so if I ever win again.